in game 2. He said, really? That's your wish? And I said, yes. So he said, your wish is granted. The knowledge is there. T1's going to win.
30 seconds to battle.
Hyde getting first blood on Kuku. Shenron, don't lead me wrong. I collected all 7 Dragon Balls. I had to fight against Frieza. Even Cell came into the mix. It was a very difficult saga. I held a Spirit Bomb up for about 10 episodes. Hands up the entire time. I got
hands up.
Collective energy from all of Twitch chat.
I can get behind that. It's my sort of prediction.
You know, Krillman had to sacrifice himself for me just to get those 7 Dragon Balls. It was a really difficult prediction for me to get.
As long as you keep your hands up, it's worth it. Doesn't matter really.
Get a pause.
It's about, if anything, DBZ has taught me, it's about the journey, not the destination.
Exactly. Then we just don't talk about Dragon Ball GT.
Even a master falters.
Stopped much earlier there. Bosnian TV, they couldn't afford some of these newer episodes.
Taking a look, already a bit of panic there after giving up first blood. Uh-oh. But yeah, I mean, I really like T1's lineup. Feels like Enigmas so far have been very hit or miss.
Yeah.
Is this a Blink BKB kind of game for the Enigma, or are we looking at more of a
He's buying
utility
Necros.
game?
He's buying Necros already, you can see. But usually how you do it is you buy those Necros, and then afterwards you can decide on the state of the game. Yeah. Usually it's a BKB and Blink, or perhaps even some amazing utility. I would like to see him scale. I would like him to have impact later on in the game, so Blink BKB would be the best.
Now, I like the Necro too, is pushing the opportunity here. You're already using your Eidolons.
I'm actually surprised that we don't see more of this, because I have 89% a kill if they're slightly out of position.
Yeah, so we'll see if that's the way that the Enigma goes after it. So you play against Seb, I play against people who think they're as good as Seb, and then really disappoint. Which is good for me, because I'm playing against them. It's a very different level.
He's also... Yeah, this isn't Seb level of last hitting right now, coming from Kuku. Like, he has 1 last hit and 2 denies. As Enigma, one thing that you want to be doing is denying everything and last hitting everything, but yeah, so far hasn't worked out at all.
Yeah, just 1 and 3 up to this point. Thing to go with on the T1 lineup too is I really like the support duo in the Earth Spirit as well as the Grimstroke. But that being said, I feel like the puck was an easy pick for T1 that went to boom.
Yeah, the puck obviously could switch the favor a little bit for boom. This Earth Spirit and Grimstroke, like you said, the roll-in with the Inkswell old school combo, when these 2 heroes were added to the game, instantly much everyone was playing this exact combination. On the other hand, boom, they also have some flair on their own. You have the Earth Spirit and the Phoenix. I heard Panel talking about all the ways to protect the Seg, and he should have a very easy time planting it properly.
Does it matter who's like... Ooh, hold on, Ember. Pretty low here over mid. Karl almost dropping.
He has a salve. He's playing with fire a little bit, both sides.
A lot of damage coming out onto these tier 1 heroes. What I was going to say is the egg positioning, obviously we see sometimes when it's a tougher game, you use that egg a little bit further back. With what he's got around him, can he play more aggressively with that egg and kind of put it further into these fights, or is that still dangerous?
Actually, not only is it not dangerous, I would say it's expected from him. Maybe even one of his players should recommend that mid lane.
Yeah, Mikoto in trouble, and Karl will just get a...
Need to be like this. Phoenix versus Enigma for me. I love playing Phoenix into him because he just has some hidden ideas around.
Malefist, Drew taking some damage here. Eidolon's adding on to the punishment.
Really, they started this lane on top lane really poorly. T1, that is.
Yeah.
This Wraith King should have way less than what he's getting.
He's 18 and 5.
18-5 versus 9-8 Enigma. He's denying, but these denies are mostly from just using Eidolons. Yeah.
So it's to be expected that he's got those
Radiant
denies.
structures
Yeah, exactly.
are
And
fortified.
they just got caught. Like, Enigma fed 2 Eidolons. After the second usage of Eidolons is really important. And he fed 2 of them to Khezcute and his Astral Spirit.
Mikoto, that soul kill is definitely
Stone
gonna
and
make this
soil,
a little bit better
ruled of
for Karl.
invisibility.
Yeah, now he also does not get lucky when it comes to the rune. Karl gets that invis.
Yeah, fills up that bottle. Granted, Mikoto now just by himself for the moment, avoiding the Earth Spirit that was coming over. That little bit of aggression that T1 were trying to play on the rune, so that works out a little bit.
Also, what's really peculiar on the side of Boom is the fact that Khezcute went to the jungle to stack and pull. Because of that, Drew,
Have been
like,
denied.
remember when we were talking about the CS before?
Yeah.
He had 19. Enigma had 9. Enigma now has 15. He has 22, 23. It's
Karl gonna go down over mid, overstepping just a bit, and now Mikoto's level 6.
right. Things are turning on the mid lane. Mikoto getting that comeback kill. I'm surprised no one DC'd.
The
Radiant's middle
BDC.
tower is under attack.
Drew again, every time he steps forward in this lane, he's taking a lot of harassment. Dream Coil down right on top of the Earth
Radiant's
Spirit.
courier has
They
been
haven't
killed.
killed him just yet. He's trying to find an opportunity out of this, but with everything on cooldown, it's not looking likely. And yeah, Mikoto now with another kill. So going from that kill on the Ember over to the Earth Spirit and gets that level 6 from the Ember kill and moves forward and gets another one immediately.
This man is just a rising star coming from SEA region. He, even when like we see this situation, it's not looking great for him. He fed the kill, still he comebacks, gets 2 kills in the next 2 minutes. So very well played by him. And the rotation from Elder Titan, obviously.
22 and 16, Enigma.
Yeah, that's it. It all came down to Khezcute leaving the lane, not
Well,
stacking the bullet.
FBZ bottom stunned up. JaCkky putting in some big damage. Hyde trying to help out, slowing down that attack speed a little bit, but it won't be enough. FBZ drops. And back over top. Xepher now on the run from Khezcute and Drew, but again, you look over the damage onto Drew with these Eidolons and just the Malefice. It's enough of a deterrent to let Xepher run.
There are some misplays here overall. I've been watching this lane so much because it's very interesting for me. It's very like nerdy lane. You have to know exactly what you're doing. You can't just play it. You can't just autopilot here.
Yeah.
That I forgot about bot lane completely. This Ursa so far is sitting on top of the network, doing pretty well, but also Tidehunter wasn't shut down.
Drew now taken out top. Xepher coming in, getting the kill with Kuku. Again, Eidolons, Malefice, the rolling, making it very difficult for Drew to farm in this lane. They're rotating over Mikoto. Xepher, he's 2 feet out successfully. Mikoto now makes a rotation and doesn't get anything from it.
Yeah, Khezcute also missed the Echo Storm, so they didn't get...
JaCkky, Grid side. Grid's in the sun ray, 8 as well, but not long for this world.
It's this matchup against Phoenix. Yeah, you can say that Ursa later on does benefit from the overpower to kill the act, right? But in the laning stage itself, Phoenix is pretty decent versus you. He has Fire Spirit, so you usually don't go overpower early on.
Roll again, Drew.
Joined in battle.
Comes mid and immediately getting harassed again.
And Mikoto taking these stacks as well that are in the jungle right now. That's something that Khezcute definitely did well.
Swell, FBZ getting chased, stunned up. He's trying to come over and save the Tidehunter, but the second
I
you
doubt your
leave,
kin will weep for
it
you.
seems like top and bottom, the second you leave the core alone, that's when it's time for T1 to pounce.
Yeah, that's why you can see Drew already relegating himself into the jungle. He's like, all right, on top lane, I have nothing else to do anymore. Enigma is going to deny every single last hit, so let's just farm the jungle, which does make a lot of sense. I'm not sure you can afford that as JaCkky.
Yeah,
Like,
I was doing the same thing.
Yeah, you can't really. Like, you can maybe farm the hard camp here next to the lane, but you should be there a little bit longer.
I think it gets difficult because Drew goes into the jungle, but that leaves the Enigma's lane open. He gets this Necro Book. I'm going to assume the tower's dropping soon up top.
So-
How do they defend that?
There is Elder Titan, right? He has 2 levels of Astral Spirit, 2 levels of Echo Storm. He will attempt to defend it, however.
JaCkky bottom. They're going forward. FBZ, he does have Ravage, the TP over Karl. Slight in and now a Icarus dive away, but Remnants forward, Hyde on the run. Slight again in a second. Karl gets the kill. They've got the Elder Titan locked up thanks to the Ink Swell from Whitemon on Xepher. They should find this Elder Titan, and then that leaves the lane very open for them to go after. But I say that, Drew, he comes into this, he's trying to get a return kill onto Whitemon. And now the puck is here too, so loser your word, Mikoto through, Dream Coil in. They're really trying to defend the tier 1. The roll's gonna miss with the phase shift used
He got his
by
ulti.
Mikoto. Now Xepher. Black hole. No mana. So that means he's not coming back to life.
Even a master.
You rely on that reincarnation so much, but when you don't have the mana for it,
Those
it's
are-
not there for you.
It's the benefit of the Necros as well, right? Coming right there into play. And what's funny is he didn't have the ulti on level 6. He just got his level 7 and he decided to fight.
Mikoto, Malefus, Mikoto with the waning rift, one more shot, gets the kill, jaunts over and back, just under the tower. They are really defending this tier 1.
But they're really bringing in pretty much everyone. On the bottom lane though, Khezcute has rotated with FBC to pressure the tier 1 on his own. So they have these 2 position 5s that are extremely good at defending, but the Grimstroke is doing a much better job than Elder Titan lane. He's getting so much on the bottom lane.
Yeah. Hitting this CS under the tower. He's level 6, 113, holding a skill point at the moment.
You can see that Hyde has remained on top as well. It's a little bit easier for him. If they dive him, he just dives out.
Drew has had to move all over the map. So tough for him. And again, those Necro Books making his life hard because that reincarnation, I don't know if it's likely to go off. If he throws 1 stun or 2 stuns, you mana burn him, you get him low. Reincarnation's 180. You've only got 470 to work with.
Yeah, needs to be careful. That's exactly what happened in that last engagement. Bottom.
Over smash, Karl getting another kill. 3-1. Mikoto comes in. FBZ ready with the Ravage if need be. Hyde also has the Supernova. Inkswell pops as well as the Silence. They've got the Magnetize on the 3. Sleight of Fist, Searing Chains now onto Hyde. They don't have Dream Coil to work with. Karl still posturing forward on them. They do have Grimstroke nearby. Sleight of Fist starting to do some damage, really chunking in, but they've got the Silence. FBZ trying to catch up with the Phase Boots and maybe get a Ravage off.
This is T1. Their defensive game, their defense is so strong. This is what he's doing. Like this Ember, you look at him and you're thinking, okay, is he trying to get the kill? What is he doing? What exactly was he doing there? He was only buying time for Grimstroke to kill a couple of more waves.
Yeah.
That's it. They every second matters in the early game, and they're defending this tier 1 a little bit longer.
And while he's keeping their attention, JaCkky's up towards top, pushing the tier 1 tower in, farming as much as he wants. It's a free lane for him. He's almost got this battle fury. He's top the net worth. Like, you're opening up so much space, just disrupting them with slights constantly.
And your heroes do naturally farm a little bit better, right? Like you have this Enigma, you have Ursa that's almost completed that battle fury like you just mentioned. Ember as well needs a little bit of time for that Maelstrom, so they're completely fine with keeping status quo right now.
Maintaining the status quo is nice for T1, only up a little bit in terms of net worth, but it does feel like overall power is in their favor.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Mikoto is actually going for Witchblade. Interesting. Some extra damage, obviously. We have seen Witchblade build a puck quite often. It can backfire too. If they catch you, you suddenly don't have that mobility from Blink Dagger.
Probably no Yules, because sometimes we see Yules, Blink Dagger on those pucks. FBZ, he's set up in the trees like he wants to use this Ravage. Whitemon coming in, doesn't have the vision on FBZ. Here's the TP over, Mikoto's in, they'll look for 1. They kill off Whitemon immediately. Eidolon's coming through Kuku. He does have Black Hole available, but a very difficult fight if it splits up. Fury picked up for the Ursa. We'll see if he stays by. They do have 4 heroes here with Grimstroke still in the grave.
So they could pressure this, but there's Dream Coil, there's Ravage, there's Egg.
Karl just playing so far forward. Dream Coil comes in, and now they'll go to the Supernova immediately. Karl, can he escape from this? Like a fist right in the back. He's got the life to do so. Supernova now down. You're out of mana on FBZ. He does not have Ravage.
Yeah, that was so well played by them.
And then the Icarus dive away. They get the tier 1 tower finally.
Such a good play, man. Like, he's crazy. He goes in,
Radiant's
baits
middle
out their
tower is
ultis,
under
Dream Coil
attack.
and Egg, and
survives.
still survives.
It
Yeah.
was close, but he did the math.
I mean, I believe that he was assessing that risk and thinking,
Dire's
okay, even if I
bottom
die,
tower
it's
is
kind of
under
fine for us. We're taking the tower. Ursa is farming.
No, maybe he'd get one more ulti out of it.
Yeah, like if you got Ravage as well, it would be a
And
little better.
forward, Khezcute in trouble. He's rooted up. Searing Chains catch him, but he walks into the trees, but not completely in there as the Slight finishes him off.
This matchup itself, like Elder Titan versus Ember, can get rough for them.
Magnetic Grip, Ravage.
Oh.
That only hits the Earth Spirit, and now FBZ jumped up by JaCky. They get the kill on the both supports, but the Malefice is there, keeping FBZ right next to JaCky, not close enough to him to get his kill, and now it's in too far. JaCky's overplayed himself.
Yeah, it's a nice silence coming in from Mikoto, who is on a monster kill streak, man.
Side of Fist, Searing Chains, Dream Coil down again onto Karl. They're looking for the sweep. They're not going to land it, but they finally have the silence. Do they have the damage? Wraithfire blast. It's in time, Karl. He exudes confidence, but that confidence gets him killed.
Can anyone stop Mikoto at this point? Like every single game I'm watching, he's crushing. It feels like he's not playing in his league even. That's how it feels like.
Yeah.
8-1-3 at the moment.
They've had him low. They just haven't been able to kill him.
This is, don't get me wrong, this is an extremely good puck game, but he's still doing all the right moves.
Yeah.
Radiant's bottom tower is
Making
under
plays.
attack. Radiant structures
Now
are
going into the
fortified.
Yule after this Witchblade. Roll
Dire's
away, Xepher
structures
spotted,
are
Icarus
fortified.
dive on top of him.
This rules that you just mentioned will
Radiant's
have
bottom
multiple
tower
usages,
has fallen.
multiple uses. It's not only for himself, it's really good against Ursa. Just healing him up. It's the only thing that can be used against status resistance. Also, it's really good versus Enigma, in case he does not calculate that heals as a stun.
Yeah.
Sometimes it happens, right? Like we've seen it recently too. Enigma, as a player, you always count the stuns, but sometimes you forget the items that, like Orchid heals and
Stops you from getting that
good black hole.
black hole out. He's gotten the Necro 3 and now looking straight for the BKB on Kuku.
Yeah, I don't mind this at all.
Magnetic Grip, they've got the
Radiant's
silence
middle
still.
tower is
They're
under
not
attack.
caught just yet.
So let me explain the reasoning about the BKB first after Necro. Usually you go Blink Dagger first, right?
Right.
But Necro delay your farm so much that by the time you get Blink, let's say after Necro, the enemy team will have 1 or 2 items extra to prevent you from using that black hole. Like the Yules,
Radiant
like
are
the Orchid.
scanning.
Because of that, you really just want to BKB and run straight in. It's still possible to use the Blink, to buy the Blink first, but this is safer.
I like the BKB here. I don't think you necessarily need the Blink Dagger to get these black holes off, especially Sleight of Fist, Searing Chains, catch a target. It doesn't have to be a massive black hole on 5 heroes.
You shall
You're
rise
focusing
again, Phoenix.
probably
So-
either Wraith King or the Puck, right?
That's true, but Blink Dagger just makes your life
Radiant's
way
middle
easier.
tower
it does.
is under
And
attack.
Arcane Blink is meta right now.
Yeah.
On Enigma is just so strong. So I want to see that Blink BKB very soon coming from him.
Yeah, but the BKB first probably secures you a black hole.
Dire's
Blink
bottom
maybe,
tower is under
especially, you know,
attack.
FBZ, he's also building a Yule. So if you're not catching everybody,
I
it,
love
it
this, yeah.
seems like you're not going to get the black hole off, but with KB, you can at least secure.
This is what you just mentioned. Not something you see very often on Tidehunter, but yeah, they just understand we need to deal with this Ursa.
Yeah.
Yules are great.
Looking to kite as much as they can. He's got the Yasha going SNY to start. Like, his farm is up there. He's up 900 ahead of the pot, up 1,000 over the Wraith King. I think Karl's game's really slowed down. Yeah, he's played aggressive, he's played forward, but it took him a long time to finish this Maelstrom.
Yeah, but just remember how much space he was making and what he was doing in this game.
Yeah.
Like all these moves in where he's very sacrificial, they hurt you. You could be hitting creeps in that time, but no, you're actually allowing your team to take objectives and the Ursa to farm.
Yeah. Enigma back up here top, makes the Eidolons. He'll continue to farm. He does switch to the Blink Dag.
Yeah, switch that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really player preference.
Onto Whitemon. Embrace it to Tide, but it's time to keep him alive. Godlike Mikoto now on his 9th kill.
I'm sure he's thinking about the both of these things, both items, and he's just deciding on the fly what feels better for him. I still think it's extremely difficult for him to use that black hole.
He might see the Yules on Mikoto and switch back.
It can happen as well, yeah.
So just the recipe away from finishing off the Sanj to get Y going.
Drew is also really close, actually so close to Radiance, it's flying out to him right now. The only problem is, like, when you go Midas Radiance on Wraith King, it's a decent power spike, but you don't feel fight ready yet. You know, like, it feels like you still want one more item at least before you're really strong.
They're gonna smoke though. Juhan and FBZ, again, the team fight from Boom is very strong. FBZ spot Xepher, Xepher's dive. Now they got the soul bind as well as the silence on a 2. He rolls away from this. Earth Splitter comes in. So far, Boom empty-handed on the midnight pulse. Drew, whose fight comes through. They pop the first fight. They go to the Supernova. Now it's time for T1 to disengage.
Yeah, it's time to run. They're doing the same things. They're doing the same exact mistakes in game 2 on the side of Boom. They're rushing into high ground.
Yeah.
They don't have the right vision. I understand why they're doing this though. They're trying to take the triangle and they had the blink on Tide, but they're not committing anything. They're just blinking in and trying to ride the Khezcute to death. Like, he's gonna roll out, obviously.
5k lead. This is really jumped forward for Boom. Wow.
Very similar to the first game, exactly. However, T1, they're doing something they've never done before.
Yeah.
In the series, that is.
Ooh, illusory orb. Paddle spot this, I believe.
I think he did it. Yeah.
So now comes in with a illusory orb once again. Does he jaunt to the back? No, he drops a dream coil. Oh,
the dive.
On the Urus dive, goes to the Sunray, not gonna matter. They'll find Hyde out.
You could say that they're making some mistakes that aren't really characteristic for Boom.
Dire's middle tower
Being out of position, missing green coil.
I imagine it doesn't.
has fallen.
It's got 7 charges on the wall, but it's not looking like it's going to be enough. They're still looking to jump. They avoid the sleep. The right click's coming through on FBZ. Kraken Shell helps him out.
This is a problem that I've noticed in the game. FBZ almost never has mana. How many Ravages have we seen? 1 on the mid lane, and that's about it, right? Like,
And he went just phase Yules. He's going into a refresher. Are you ever going to have the mana to sustain that?
with these items, not. Like, you can argue that if he has 20 Magic Wand charges, you can kinda
refresher. What are you doing with that?
Yeah, it's peculiar, let's put it that way. I would much rather see the Arcane Blink that we're seeing
Radiant's
recently
top tower
more
is
often on
under attack.
Tidehunter. Or any sort of utility for the Wraith King.
For sure. I think, yeah, the way you put it, peculiar, not a word I'm good at. Said it better than me. And yeah,
yes.
It just
one word. First time in my life I've heard that.
It just seems like such an odd pickup if he does commit to this.
A tool to teach.
Kuku, whip, gun cool down, but Essence Ring roll, not gonna get him.
If it has both.
The Necros have also been committed, and there you go, the Yules.
And they found Kuku. Well, running, Savage uses that hits on a Whitemon as well as Kuku. They get the kill on the Enigma. They look over at the Grimstroke. One more shot, not even needed because they got the Radiance burn. Triple kill for Drew. Big fight for Boom. Very split from T1.
Yeah, big fight for them. Really well played. And you can see the problem that Enigma is now facing. Like, he has this Blink Dagger, but he can't use it. Like, he can only use it defensively to run away. He can't really use Black Hole. He needs the BKB.
Yeah.
It's like, it's questionable. I'm not gonna say that I like his choice, because if he had that BKB, man, you have Aegis as well at this point. You could have started the fight in some way.
T1 though, I'm gonna say they want to use this Aegis to farm, and I say that just because you want the BKB on the Ember. He stayed in his lane that entire engagement, and then you've got the knocking out the Blink Battle Fury. We'll see what JaCky wants next. But they want a power spike, right?
You are not wrong, but it's not an option anymore for them to fight or not. They need to farm. They need to get the BKB on Enigma. That's why he's in the triangle. It's the safest spot for him to farm in.
See if they can do what they did last time and find their time for these items, and then not only get the items, but play around them. Play around them, right? What's the next item you think for JaCky? Give up 1,300 gold here.
Yeah, a Basher would be nice as well. I could go for that missile that we see very often on Ursas. MKB is an option perhaps if you worry about the Radiance. Maybe a Halberd will come from Wraith King too, so we'll see.
Be right by Mikoto. Let's at each other.
Dire are scanning.
So BKB for Xepher next too. We see this a lot from Earth Spirits, that early BKB, just so you can stay in these fights and be hyper effective.
Bounty.
You actually scouted out the smoke though.
Like that grid stops the stop, but the roll that only hits on the Phoenix. Or use the Ursa in to get Khezcute, find themselves one. Did point to cut down the distance as well.
This smoke really didn't accomplish a lot for Boom. How many bounties? 2 bounties each team, I believe, right?
Yeah, and he gave up the Elder Titan.
They gave up. Yeah, they tried to smoke up to that top bounty. That's a very common play. You smoke up and you try to get the fight on your turns around the bounty runes.
Dire's top tower is under
They just got caught by the Spirit.
So Remnant left top. JaCkY's trying to take the tier 2 tower. They've got the Necro Creeps as well as the Eidolons coming through. They've used, it's a siege creep in on this tower, so they've got a lot of power going towards the tier 2. Boom don't want to give this up. They're coming through, and already aware of it is T1.
Yeah, you don't have to give this up at all. You're aware they don't have the BKB still on Enigma. The Aegis, you timed it, you know it just been reclaimed by Ursa, so you're fine with defending. Your team fight on Boom is still way stronger, as long as Enigma doesn't have that BKB. I'm actually, yeah, another smoke. I was surprised they weren't trying to force things more.
So they smoke up, but right now T1's positioning is solid enough to avoid this.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And they're reading. They're just, you see the ping out. I think they spotted one of the auras on the mid lane. Yeah, 100%. I think Elder Titan went too close. Natural Order was spotted out.
And we've just seen this. This was game 1 too. They were so good at avoiding the smokes.
Dire's
insanely good, really.
You know, it's not something that's often as visible as it.
Yeah, so you have to ask yourself, what are Boom doing wrong for T1 to dodge every single smoke? Because you can't be, they don't have our vision, they don't see the whole map. However, what they do see is lack of heroes on the map, right? And if everyone is smoking up, then it's kind of obvious.
So it'll be JaCkY picking up the BKB.
Very, very close to it. I like this as well, by the way. BKB wasn't even in my mind when you asked me first time because he had Aegis. But
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Meanwhile, Whitemon's pushing in the top tier 2 while
Dire's
being
middle
heavily
tower is
commit
under
for the
attack.
bottom tier 2.
Mikoto is going to have
bottom
a
tower
huge
has
power
fallen.
spike very soon. That BKB won't help you from against that.
Dire's top tower
The
is under
point booster
attack.
is the only thing that he has left
Radiant's
from the
bottom
Agony
tower
Scepter.
is under attack. Dire's top tower has fallen.
Poking at the bottom tier 3. Yeah, this Axe might come as a surprise to T1. And that could be fight winning, potentially game.
Nice few tier 3 items as well picked up. The Enchanted Quiver on Mikoto.
Radiant's
I
bottom
love
tower
that.
is under attack.
Courier coming through with the Ags, Mikoto picking it up. Meanwhile, we haven't really talked about the Wraith King for a little bit. He's got himself an AC going into the Abyssal, has 25% gold towards it already.
It's a solid build here. Just overall, AC gives this hero quite a bit.
Right.
Radiance and Midas, like we said earlier, they pretty much just helps you to farm up the next few items.
Radiant's
TP's
middle
coming in.
tower is
Karl.
under attack.
He's hit with the green coil. BKB is popped with the Ags. And they get the kill on Karl before the leash is over. Sight and the Remnant.
That's so long, and they still don't manage to kill him.
Yeah.
They must be feeling a little bit bad there, because Dream Coil was committed too. However, BKB...
10-second BKB
Yeah.
out of the way. I'll take that.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think T1...
You can't get that BKB back. Dream
Yeah.
Coil, it will come off cooldown eventually again.
And I don't think T1 are looking to fight without that, without that BKB. So by the time the BKB's up, so is the Dream Coil. That's fine.
It's so interesting as well.
Dire's courier
You talked
has
about
been
Earth Spirit
killed.
getting the BKB. Man, Hyde has
Radiant's
it.
bottom tower
The
is under
Phoenix
attack.
on the BKB.
Coming over. The Fist Searing Chains, that roots up the Phoenix as well as Drew. Well, they're coming around as Ursa gets to the Khezcute already. JaCk's got the BKB, but he'll use that enrage first. Now think about chasing. There's the roll in. They get the Kona Whitemon. They'll take the Grimstroke. They've got the silence on a Hyde as well as the Magnetize drops on 3 of these heroes. Drew, though, focusing his attention onto Xepher. Right clicks in. They've got the Malphus as well as the Midnight Pulse. The Dream Coil comes out. Back over to Drew as it's a double kill right now for JaCkky. Got the kill to the Elder Plant as well as the Phoenix. They've got no buyback on the Phoenix. The BKB being popped by JaCkky, running away from Drew. The Wraith Fire Blast. Oh, Ravage, that's through. Only hits out of the Ursa, but it's enough to get the JaCkky. They find themselves home and get hit with the gush. They've also got the silence, the Phantoms, and Breeze. That silences up the puck, but heals up into the air. They'll spot themselves the Grimstroke once again, who ball back into the fight. He's there for 75 seconds without buyback. Now Karl on the run. BKB, still no black hole. Sight of Fist Searing Chains, that hits on a 2.
He won't even try it, I think.
T1, yeah, not even trying for it.
Yeah, he can't. This Enigma used the BKB during the fight without using the black hole. And then afterwards, after the BKB has been expended, you can't use the black hole anymore.
Right.
It's that BKB is as important as your black hole, because one does not come without the other. Really well played overall by Ursa. Sadly, the supporting composition of his teammates was not there. JaCkky was the man of the match in that last team fight. He carries off one support with duty, then uses BKB for the other support. Still, wasn't enough.
Don't have Ravage, but there's the Grimstroke. BKB, black hole coming in. That's on to the Tidehunter. First Splitter comes through. Tidehunter looking gets the kill on 2-1. Finally, FBZ drops, but the BKB's been popped by JaCkky. Now it's time for him to run. He's trying to get out of the hands of Drew, who's ready to throw a Wraith Fire Blast. They get the counter Xepher. They look over as the BKB is out. Supernova down. Karl can't do anything out at the moment. They'll look for the sleep. Find a Fist Searing Chain. And now they've got the stun on the JaCkky. But there's the Soul Mine as well as the double silence. They're going to Remnant back in. Mikoto trying to stand his ground. They get the kill on the JaCkky. He's gone for 110 seconds. No Ursa to play with. These heroes are so low on boom, but they just aren't dying.
But that's your BKB popped with the black hole on a Tidehunter that already used his Ravage a minute ago. Like, that's not the target, that's not the hero that you want to be catching. And it's not an easy Enigma game. It's very difficult to catch the puck. Wraith King has 2 lives, so you don't really want to expend that black hole on him. He tried to kind of catch puck on the Tidehunter and he failed. Plus, he forced the Ursa buyback because of that big ulti.
Dire's bottom
Yeah, if
tower
you're
is under attack.
right now, you're you're not feeling great.
No, not at all. And Karl going back in. JaCkky burned out by the sun ray.
Dire structures are fortified.
He's just dead for a long time. All
Radiant's
of a sudden, Boom
middle
have a
tower is under
13k lead over the
Dire's
game.
bottom
And they have that
tower is under
Aegis,
attack.
they have the cheese on the Phoenix. Obviously, you don't have to give it. Alright, they switch it up. They give it to the Wraith King. Better safe than sorry.
Radiant's middle tower has
There
fallen.
is no reason really for Phoenix to carry it so far.
A lot of damage on the Drew. Has to get Glimmer Caped and back off.
Yeah, that's the stroke of fate plus the Midnight Pulse.
Lone Coil. Finding Xepher.
Ring around the
dancing
Rosie.
Gun. Xepher up into the air. Sunray on him. No chance to escape. Mikoto with another one.
Time to
You can see that they're
hibernate.
slowly getting to items that are necessary for the Ursa too. Phoenix with the Sunsh, getting towards that, very close towards that halberd. Tidehunter also has full halberd, full Yules completed. He didn't go for the refresher instantly. He's just, I believe, debating us with quick buy.
And now Drew has an Abyssal.
Another item that's very good against Enigma. It's also something. It's not only about the Ember Spirit, obviously. It's very good that you can catch him in fights, but you can always blink behind Enigma once that blink is there and cancel the fall.
Dado is on the puck, like the damage spike again
Radiant's
from
top
Boom
tower
is
is under attack.
so much where, I don't know, T1, they're looking for an
Radiant's
Abyssal on
top
JaCkky,
tower
but he's
has
so far
fallen.
from that. Shiva's gonna be enough from
Radiant's
Karl.
top
I'm
tower
not
is under attack.
so certain about that.
It helps. Is it going to be enough? Definitely not. They need some help from your psychic
Radiant's
friends
top
to defend
tower
this high
has
ground.
Well,
But
it's not
they-
looking good so far.
This is their best,
structures
though,
are
right?
fortified.
They need like a 5-man black hole, but it
Radiant's top
almost
tower
seems
is
impossible.
under
Why would
attack.
Boom ever set up like that? They just don't have the
Dire's
heroes that
bottom
do
tower
that.
is under attack.
You know, we've seen in game 1 some very questionable Boom high ground pushes, so you know, this isn't their strongest part of the game.
Getting on to the high ground been a bit of a problem for them. Almost level 25 for Drew. See if he takes the reincarnation cast Ray Bar Blast. So it's a difficult one to deal with. And Arcane Blink, the next build for Puck.
I would love to see the same coming from the Tidehunter and the Enigma. Enigma with the refresher, okay, I can get behind that too. If you know, fail one black hole, you can at least cast it again.
Or if you hit, you can hit again.
Yeah.
Especially have that double BKB. That's very important because, like you said, no BKB, no black hole most likely.
Pretty much. Even with the BKB, your black hole isn't 100% now. You have a couple of things to deal with.
Ability.
Dire are scanning.
Being built for the Ember. You've got Basher finished for the Ursa.
Fortunately, he's caught.
Coil again.
Oh man.
Shiva, the
Oh
damage
man.
is just so much from Mikoto at this point. He may have gotten away with that minutes ago, but it's not happening again. And you can see Boom just supporting their mid, giving him the tips, realizing, yeah, Mikoto is on one. He's 14-1 and 8. He hasn't died since he gave up that kill under the tier 1 tower in the beginning.
Yeah, beware of Mikoto after you kill him the first time. That's gonna be the last one as well, it looks like.
You anger him, and all of a sudden, well,
You know what it was? It was the pause. The pause angered the beast. Oh.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Okay.
attack.
Mikoto. So no, they don't. Kuku trying to run, but that magnetizes onto the zeros on the side of Boom. They get the kill on the Enigma, who will buy back and have that refresher. So we talked about the second black hole, not existent at the moment. Mikoto survived, Boulder smashed out, Hyde keeping them healthy with the sun ray.
Radiant's
Yeah, he's going to
bottom barracks are
have
under
Midnight
attack.
Pulse. I think he should save it
Radiant's
for
bottom
mid lane.
barracks has fallen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they can delay them a little bit,
Radiant's
but
middle tower
they can't
is
fight
under
without the
attack.
Ember.
So the Midnight Pulse.
Radiant's middle
Lose the
tower
tier
has
3,
fallen.
Ember up in 4.
Radiant's
How will
middle
he-
barracks.
Ursa going in, up in the air. JaCkky now needs to run. He's in trouble. Dream Coil Down goes Kuku, looking like the end for tier T1. Chases on to Karl, not much of a place for him to go. They get the first right out of the hands of the Wraith King. Ursa comes in and finishes off Karl. All 3 cores are gone, and it's looking like the hopes of T1 in this game are gone as well as they call GG.
What a performance by the fuck, really. All the picks go once again his favor. It's a lobby game, I believe it doesn't really matter, but man, Mikoto, he found a way to carry, and